A fan favourite is being picked as the leading actor for the new God of War series. But who is it? And how does it affect projects like our beloved Stargate? Welcome to Sci-Trek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. So last year, Amazon announced that it was going to make a television series adaptation of the game God of War. This is being made in co-production with Sony Pictures and Penguin and Parker, Hawk Ostby and Mark Fergus's television production company. They are currently working hard to get the development for this TV series done just right. And actually, Penguin and Parker are going to be executive producer of this series, similarly how they were for The Expanse. But they're also going to be writing this series. But I'm going to come back to that in a minute. So, we know that they're in early development stages of this TV series. We also know, thanks to Catherine Pope, who is actually the head of Sony Pictures, that the development work is going ahead very, very nicely. She has actually said that she's really proud of the work that's getting done, that they're working hard to expand the universe and the worlds of the game while keeping to the values of the game. But who should play the legendary Kratos, the main man, the God of War himself? Dave Bautista, Drax from the Guardians of the Galaxy, was one of the big first names to get thrown into the hat. The fans would have gone crazy for that. And let's be honest, he's kind of got the look. But there has been one actor whose name has been very firmly the fan favourite from day one. And this being a Stargate channel, he's one of our favourites too. Christopher Judge.
Indeed.
But why was Christopher Judge connected to this project? Well, he's already Kratos. He does actually voice the character for the games. He's actually voiced it twice now, in the 2018 God of War game and then in the sequel Ragnarok. He recently won an award at the Games Awards, given to him by Al Pacino, for God's sake. Which must have been quite exciting, and in fact was, because he then went on to have a speech for like what felt like 6 weeks. You got to love Christopher Judge when he gets excited. After 10 years of, indeed, to actually see the real Christopher Judge all smiles and giggly and excitable is just glorious. But just because he's our favourite and a fan favourite doesn't necessarily mean he's going to get the part. Well, apparently he's also Hawk Ostby's favourite for the role. Now, Hawk Ostby is one of the guys that works for Penguin and Parker, as I mentioned. He's one of the guys that wrote a lot of the scripts for The Expanse. He works directly with Mark Fergus, who we're hoping is about to take on the Stargate role. Now, what I've always been told is the Penguin and Parker as a company is planning to expand, and they want to have 2, 3, maybe 4 projects on the go at once. They want the God of War. They want Stargate, and Mark Fergus is actually going to have his way and asked for that project. They want to also be working on maybe a couple of movies at any one time. Now, the way I've been told that they're going to split this is that Mark Fergus is actually going to take the lead on potentially a Stargate franchise, and Hawk Ostby will take the lead eventually on the God of War. I say eventually because the God of War has really been taking up all of their time in the last 6 months. They have been desperately trying to get all of the scripts done and agreed with Sony Pictures and Amazon because of this looming possible writers' strike that's coming up. If you don't know about this writers' strike, it has happened before. And basically, all of the organizations that represent the writers, TV writers, and movie writers in Hollywood have got together and they've said, you're not treating our members very well, and we're going to go on strike unless you sort it. There's actually big meetings going on at the moment. Representatives from the main 9 biggest studios in Hollywood started conversations with the Writers Guild, etc., from around the 20th of March. And we have a May 1st deadline for there to be an agreement. Now, it looks like, very tentatively, that there might be an agreement. However, that's not what it's looked like for the last few months, and there is still big risks that we might see a strike. If we do, all of the writers will have to put down their pens. So, to get the God of War up and running as quickly as possible, Hawk Ostby and Mark Fergus have been throwing everything at getting those scripts done. Now, I'm being told those scripts are virtually done. And finally, Mark Ferguson might actually be able to go across to Amazon and have a proper conversation about Stargate. But in the meantime, Hawk Ostby is concentrating on God of War, and they're starting to think about casting. Now, the guy I speak to works at one of the larger agencies in Hollywood, and he has been talking to me about that there have been lots of names thrown around for the Kratos character. They really desperately need the right person for that part. And really, I'm being told that that's going to be the first part that they cast. All of the other casting will really flow from that. For example, we need Kratos' son. Now, you need somebody that's going to look like they're actually the son of the main character. Dave Bautista or Christopher Judge, that's going to mean a slightly different bit of casting for the son. So you start at the top and you work your way down. And what I'm being told is the name that's being bounced around the studios quite a lot, and apparently between a few agents, is that Christopher Judge is the studio's favourite. But would Christopher Judge agree? Of course he'd agree. He would jump over this. Again, go back and look at his speech when he just picked up the thing for doing the voice. He was very excited about it. And to be honest, after decades of working in Hollywood, Christopher Judge deserves this. And as a Stargate fan, I would go absolutely nuts if he got it. But how would him getting that major part for a series that might run on for years affect his ability to return as Teal'c to any new Stargate franchise? Well, there are a couple of rumors I've got to bring you about Sony Pictures, Warner Brothers, and Amazon, and conversations about the future Stargate. But we'll come back to that in another video. I do have to mention, though, that Penguin and Parker is the lead production company for Stargate at the moment. Unless something goes horribly wrong, they are going to be doing the production work, the development work, a lot of the scripts, etc., for the new Stargate franchise. So obviously, if you've got two big projects, both being bought by Amazon, Stargate and God of War, both with the same production company in Penguin and Parker, it's going to be relatively easy for Christopher Judge to bounce between the two if they want him to. Now, I have to say that it sounds like all of the plans for Stargate at the moment are revolving around that there'd be a new cast, but that some of the old cast would drop in and out. So Christopher Judge as Teal'c could turn up for special episodes, maybe even for parts within any movies. And to be honest, it would be incredibly easy for Penguin and Parker to arrange that. I think about The Mandalorian and The Last of Us recently. Pedro Pascal was bouncing between two major studios. He would have to walk across the lot and film bits for The Mandalorian. Then he'd have to walk back and film bits for The Last of Us. He was able to do that thanks to the cooperation between those two studios and the fact that actually the actual place he was filming was within like 100 meters of each other. So this is more than possible for projects like this. It's not a big deal for principal photography and stuff and the work being done in one studio and the actor literally just to flip between the two. Now, obviously, for Pedro Pascal, that was a little bit easier because he didn't actually have to film big chunks of The Mandalorian because the guy in the helmet was somebody else a lot of the time. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. So that made things a little bit easier. But Christopher Judge will not be having a major part in Stargate. Neither will Amanda Tapping, neither will Michael Shanks. These will be actors that come in and out. We are going to get a largely new cast that will be doing a lot of the heavy lifting. But what do I think about Christopher Judge getting the Kratos, I don't know how you say it, main part? Well, I just think he would be an amazing fit. The reason why his voice in this part has been so popular because he just embodies it. Now, unfortunately, there will be some people that will shout woke and they will shout that, oh, wait a second, Christopher Judge is a black guy and Kratos is a white guy and but to be honest, I don't care about that sort of thing. If the actor fits the part, I really couldn't care less. This is a fictional character. And to be honest, most of the fans of the game, the people that actually love the God of War already, I don't think any of them will have a problem with Christopher Judge returning. So let's see how this works out. I'm hearing we should know something about this within the next 8, maybe 12 weeks. And then we'll be getting lots of other big announcements about the God of War, which will hopefully begin screening sometime in the summer. I'd love, though, for you guys now to get in the comments and tell me exactly what you think about this project. Is Christopher Judge the perfect man for the role? Or do you have an idea for somebody else? There's actually a bit of a campaign for Hunter Hearst Helmsley from the WWE to come over and do it. I'd be okay with that as well. I was a big Triple H fan when I was a kid watching the wrestling, so I'd be okay with that as well. But Christopher Judge is number one for me. But get into the comments and tell me what you think or who you think should be playing this part. As always, if you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out. And you can always join us over at patreon.com/sidetrack, where you get to see most of our newest videos first and without the adverts for a small contribution each month that really supports the channel. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.